Hello, it's Sonia here from The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel, and today is another featured stitch of the week. And today we are going to be working on, it's a shell type of stitch. I'm going to call it a crossed shell. I think it looks really cool, it has a lot of texture to it, and I love stitches like that. I think it would look really nice if you could somehow incorporate it into a shawl, or maybe like a lighter area blanket, or even a scarf. You know, there's probably a lot of different things that you could use this stitch with. So today I'm just using my trusty eye hook, or 5.5 millimeter, and I have worsted weight yarn, and you can certainly use whatever hook or yarn that you have. I do suggest with the yarn to not use fuzzy or furry yarn. You want it to, you know, have yarn that's a smoother texture, just make life a little bit easier for you. So to work this stitch pattern, you are going to need to chain a multiple of 6 plus 3. So we are going to chain 21. Okay, so I have my 21 chains, and 6 plus 3, what that means is, so 6 times 3 is 18. So you want to have a multiple of 6, and then you're going to add 3 stitches to that. So 6 times 3 is 18, 18 plus 3 is 21. So that's where that comes to play. If you're not sure what that means, that's what it means. You could also have one that's like 7 plus 3 or 7 plus 2, or it might just say chain a multiple of 5. It just depends on the stitch pattern. Alright, so what we're going to do, row 1 is your setup row. You could probably do this without the setup row, but it's just going to make life a little bit easier to use the setup row. So it's just kind of your foundation to get started with this stitch. So what you're going to do is just single crochet all the way across. So you're going to work in the second chain from your hook, so however you want to work in a chain, and you're going to single crochet across. So then we will have a total of 20 single crochet. So I'm going to keep working my single crochet across here, and then I will meet you back and we'll get started on row 2. Okay, so I've completed row 1. I have my 20 single crochet, and now we're going to get ready to work row 2. So this is where the pattern starts to come into play. So as I said before, this is the setup row. So row 2, you're going to chain 4, and we're going to turn our work. So this will count as a stitch. Going to count as a triple crochet. We're going to triple crochet. The rest of the rows will be worked in triple crochet. We're going to place them in different spots. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to work my yarn over twice already, and we are going to skip 3 stitches. So this is already our first stitch here, so we don't want to work in here because then we're going to add stitches, and we don't want to do that. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to single crochet, not single crochet, I'm sorry, triple crochet in the next 3 stitches. So there, whoops, and we're flying out. There we go. Always has to happen at least once. Alright, so 2 more triple crochet. And I do not have a pattern yet using this stitch. I'm trying to think of one, kind of thinking like a shawl maybe, if I could come up with something. I just think it would look really pretty in a shawl, like just really cool, but we'll see what happens. So much to do or want to do and not enough time. Alright, so we have our 3 triple crochet. Now we're going to go back and triple crochet in the ones that we skipped. So these guys we're working in here. So it's almost like a cable, but we're not working any post stitches. We're working in the stitch. So right here I'm going to work in this stitch here. So just kind of wrapping. So you don't want to have super tight tension, and it might seem a little, you know, messy looking at first. Oops, I think I added a loop. I don't want to do that. But once you get going in it, it starts to come, you know, together. So it looks kind of messy, and oh, there we go, splitting. So I'm just working a regular triple crochet. So now we're going to work another one in this one here. So yarn over twice, do a little bit of hook gymnastics, getting her in there, pulling up my loop, and then just completing the stitch. And we got one more to do, so kind of looks like we're done, but we can't forget this guy right here. Okay, so we've completed that one. Now we're going to just repeat. So we're going to skip 3 again and work triple crochet in the next 3. So getting my yarn over all ready to go, my double yarn over. So make sure you don't work in here or skip this guy. So, you know, you can see that we already worked in there. So 1, 2, 3 right here. And I often like to use my thumb to kind of mark the row to help me out a little bit. Or, ugh, come on. Yes, I have crocheted before. 1, 2, 3. So it's a fairly easy repeat. You're going to skip 3, work 3 triple crochet, and then you're going to go back and work 3 triple crochet in the ones that you skipped. So there we go. Now we're going to go back and work in the ones that we skipped. So right here. And I said before, it does look a little messy. It might seem a little twisty, turny, and just kind of like, this is just not looking so great. But once you get a couple rows under your belt, it starts to look a lot nicer. And it just looks cool, I think. It's just got a lot of texture to it, and I love stitches with texture. And we can't forget the other one right there. Alright, so we're going to do that again. So 1, 2, 3, and work in the next 3. And we'll go back and work in the ones that we skipped. And you don't have to be super gentle with this. You know, you can, like, you know, this guy in here, you know, you can spread that apart to find the stitch. It's not going to hurt anything. It's pretty secure. Okay, so now we have 1 stitch left here, and we're going to work a triple crochet in the last. So your first stitch and your last stitch are kind of like your anchors. They are just plain triple crochet. So this chain 4 counts as a triple crochet, and then here is an actual triple crochet. So now we're going to get ready for row 3, and it's going to be a repeat of row 2. We're going to chain 4 and turn our work. And when you're chaining your 4, just make sure that your chain is a little bit compact. You know, you don't want it to be too loose, because then it helps to match your other stitches here. So it can get a little tricky to find the other stitches, so I suggest turning them upside down, or not upside down, turning it towards you. Not sure. Yeah, let's turn it upside down. No, we want to have it turned towards you. Then you can see the tops of the stitches there. It makes it a little easier instead of looking at it here, because some of these stitches got covered up in there, and you can, you know, move that guy around a little bit to find it. So I'm going to get my yarn over started, and this again is a stitch, so don't work in here. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, and there is, if I turn it towards me, 1, 2, 3 where we need to work. So if you have done cabling before, you know, you're crossing stitches, working in front or behind, or so it's a little bit similar, except we are working in the stitch. No post stitches. Cabling is usually post stitches where you're working around the stitch, and we are not working around them, we are working in the stitch. It just looks like it's a cool shell type look to me. Alright, so yarn over twice, and we're going to go back in, and here is that first one there, so 1, 2, 3. And I'm spreading it apart there to find the other two, so 1 and 2. And there's the last one. And we're going to repeat. So we already worked these guys here. So again, if you look at the top, so 1, 2, 3, we're skipping. And then we're working in these 3. So 1, 2, 3, right here. There's our third one, and then we're going to go back and work in the ones that we skipped. So oh goodness, you're always going to have the same amount of stitches. So we started out with 20, and you're going to have 20. So just keep in mind of your stitch count. You don't want to miss a stitch. Or whatever your multiple is. Let's say, you wanted to, a multiple of 6 plus 3, you could have 33 stitches, and then you would have a total of 32 if you were working this stitch pattern over 30. If you started out with 33 chains, then you would have a total of 32 stitches when you got going on this in the stitch pattern. It's all about the math. 1, 2, 3, and I hate math, but actually crocheting has kind of helped my math skills a little bit. It's kind of forced me to become a little bit, to sharpen them up a little. Still have to work hard at it, but it has helped me a little bit with that. So thank you, crochet. I don't want to learn calculus or anything, but yeah. Basic adding has helped, multiplication. Alright, so now we're going to go back and work in the ones that we skipped. See, this one's gotten really crunched in there, but I know it's there. And we worked our third one, so now we're going to work on top of this chain 4, because this counts as a stitch. So right on top of that chain, work our triple crochet. And I chain kind of tightly, so just, get that hook in there as however you can. Okay, so now we have completed row 3. I'm going to work a couple more rows so then you can really see what it looks like. But I think it looks really neat. As I said, definitely has a lot of texture. So I'll work a couple more rows and I will meet you back. Okay, so I've worked a few more rows of these cross shells here. So what you want to do if you were, let's say you just wanted to make this, to finish it off, I would just work a row of single crochet. So we have a total of 20 stitches, so you will want to work a total of 20 single crochet to finish her off. So chaining 1, turning, but you could certainly, use, if you wanted to work double crochet or, whatever. You could even start this off with double crochet on the bottom, however you want to incorporate this stitch pattern. But this is just for like a swatch. So I'm going to keep on going. I'm just going to finish up these single crochets and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have completed my single crochet right there at the top. And you can see how the pattern is taking shape. Once you have a couple rows on there, it definitely, you know, looks a little bit better. And if you were making something out of this, then I would suggest, you know, giving it a little bit of a block, and that'll really help to just open the stitches up a little bit more, and you can really, you know, see the definition and the texture. So I hope you enjoyed this little stitch pattern here, and I thank you so much for watching.